I don't buy new cars, I don't buy brand names. I go to Goodwill for my clothes. I like to save money, I like to find bargains. It's the life I chose. I throw nothing away, I'll find a use another day for all this junk I keep. My neighbors all hate me, they abuse and berate me, 'cause I like doing it cheap. Yeah, I like doing it cheap. Welcome to another episode of Doing It Cheap. Well, I hope the wind don't make too much noise on that camera. I got out here yesterday and I finished cleaning up the yard where I tore down that old greenhouse. Got it just as neat and clean as I could out here, because my calves still did not want me going up and down steps of any kind. I got some caulk, some rubber backed washers, and some screws, and I will be getting up here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish pulling the panels off the roof and reinstall them. I will show you in detail here in a few minutes of how I'll actually do it, but I want to show you on one of the wall panels. I don't want to set up the camera and be trying to fool with worrying about camera angles and shots from up there, you know, off the top of the ladder. So wish me luck. Let me get this roof done. That's the hardest part. If I can get that done, then the rest of it's cake. But I just got to get up there and grunt and groan and strain and stretch and all that. But man, I sure hope to have this done today. My God, I'm tired of this project, and I'm looking forward to being able to tell you what I honestly feel about it. And on another video, I will be just going through the instruction manual one page at a time for people that don't want to sit through, you know, 10, 11, 12 episodes. So anyway, let me finish this cup of coffee and see if this wind's going to die down any. I sure hope so. It's a beautiful day. And I guess if I can feel the breeze on me, it must be making noise in that camera. Anyhow, I'll have this cup of coffee here, and then we'll get to work. Thank you. What I want to show you, thought I'd show you how them vents can blow out. You know, you sit there and you say, well, how in the hell did that happen? Then end up on the ground. Well, when you install them, there's two different ways you can install them. You can slide them in from the outside edge of the roof, or you can lift it high enough and that little piece of metal will lift out of that channel. So let me demonstrate that for you right quick, just so you're aware of it. Well, while I was sitting here trying to relax, daggum wind come up, blew two more pieces out of the wall, two more pieces out of the gable, blew around this side of the house, wall pieces behind the garage, and this piece right here ended up in the creek. I don't think I'm going to be putting panels up today in this wind. Shit. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have. Well, I decided that today ain't going to be the day that I put the panels in that daggum greenhouse. As you can see, I got them all out. I took off the other door. I took off all the other panels. Shit was blowing everywhere. So I'm gonna have to wait for one of these warm fronts or cold fronts to pass on through so the winds calm down. There ain't no reason to go up there and try to fight it in the wind. Dadgummit. Maybe I'll piddle around today with my pallets. Alright, check back with you. Well, here it is Friday. A few days after that dadgum panels blew out. And I called the local television station, talked to the weatherman, and I asked him, I said, when's this wind gonna lay down so I can put them panels in my dadgum greenhouse? And they said, you ought to have calm winds on Friday. Be a chance of rain, it ought to be pretty calm on Friday. Well, by God, here it is Friday. And as you can tell, there ain't no wind blowing. So why ain't my big ass up there putting them panels in? It's because I pulled my back swatting at a damn wasp. I swear for my time. I am hurting. I can't even walk straight. And maybe Saturday, tomorrow, maybe I can get out there and do it. Well, boy, this project's been aggravating as hell, I tell you. So I'll check back with you. Well, sitting out here on the front porch reminds me of a story. There's these two old women down in Mississippi eating watermelon in August, and it was hot. Lord, it was hot outside. Them two old women sat on that front porch eating that watermelon and said, Lord, this sure is some good watermelon. I said, it sure is. Well, I'm saying, but Lord, it's hot out here. Lord, it's so hot. One old woman, she said, just now, I'll be right back. I'm going to go in the house, pull off my drawers. So she goes in the house, pulls off her underwear, and come back out there and sat back down on the porch eating that watermelon. Her friend looked over at her and says, be that any cooler? She said, Lord, no, it ain't no cooler, but it sure keeps the flies off of watermelon. Check with you later. Before it gets too dark, I wanted to show you how I'm putting these panels up. I'm using a 40-year caulk with silicone. It goes on white, and when it dries clear. It's supposed to be good for 40 years. I hope I'm around to bitch about it not lasting as long as I do. We'll see. Anyway, what I'm doing is on the sidewalls, I'm using a little caulk at the top and the bottom, and then where the screws are going in the cross members. And later on, if I see they're rattling or anything, I will inject caulk from the inside of the greenhouse right alongside the panel, you know, with the narrow tip of the tube, and sort of glue it in place. So I thought I'd show you what I've got done here and demonstrate one panel before it gets a little dark. Up here on the roof, let's see if I can get this where you can see it. Up here on the roof, I got two screws at the top, two on the side, two on the cross member, then two at the bottom. So each full roof panel has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 screws. You can't see the ones at the very bottom edge.
So there's 10 screws in there. I don't have 2 cross members like I do in the walls here. See, in the walls you got 2 runs of metal going across to allow you to screw into 2 different locations. So in the wall panels, putting 2 at the bottom, 2 in the first run and going across, 2 in the second, and then 2 at the top. So I got 8 screws in each wall panel, and I'll just show you how I'm putting that on here. The wind's gonna blow anyway, where you can't hear what I'm saying. Dadgummit. It's all calm and shit. Now that's going crazy again. Alrighty then. We're gonna run a bead of caulk along the top. Original instructions say put them little clips in there and that's all you need. Fuck them. Now you want to get you something 6 inches long. Whatever length you think looks right. It doesn't matter if you use a stick, a board, pencil, whatever you want to use. It's a lot quicker than a measuring tape. And now then, I take my screw with my rubber back washer here. Just put them in till they're snug. You don't want to mash it down too tight, too flat. So that's how it's done. I've only got about 6 and 5 is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23, 29 more pieces to go. Well, I'll check back with you after I've got it all put up. But I did want to show you how I'm doing this now to where I ain't going to have to worry about this son of a bitch blowing apart again. It really ticked me off. But son of a bitch ain't going to come apart now. Whew. Alright. So, check back with you in a little bit. One of the bad things about the instructions on this dadgum thing is they don't go into much detail as to how you need to make sure this is thus and so and all that. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I want you to look at this line right here. Can you tell that it's going uphill? It's one thing, for something to be hidden and you don't see it or didn't have any screws in it, you wouldn't notice it. But because I'm going to be putting screws in here, if I've got this all cattywampus, man, that's gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and somebody's gonna say, look at the shitty job Pawpaw did. So let me show you how we correct that. You'll recall that I was telling you about, oh man, you gotta get that foundation just right, gotta get square, plumb, level, all that kind of good stuff. Well, I sure don't want something that looks like this on here, because all that's gonna do is just really look like shit. I mean, I don't know no nicer way to say it. It's just going to look like shit if I leave it like this. So, what I'll do is I'll measure over here, because this is the fixed point. There ain't no give here. And I'm measuring down to the wood. And the bottom of this metal right here is 54 1/8 inches. So I'm going to come over here to every one of these. And I'm going to mark them at 54 1/8 inches. goodness, hard to believe it's that much off. Wait, you all see this. That right there is how much this thing was off. One of my screws in my polycarbonate would really look lousy if I'd left it like that. Like I said, there's nothing in the instructions to tell you to watch out for stuff like that. There, does that look better? Hope so. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Alright. Well, pole body's perfect, but that looks better than it did. Alright, I'll check back with you after I get all these panels up. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. Whew. Well, I've got 3 more pieces to put in the roof. I ran out of screws last night. But by God, that sons of bitches didn't blow out this time. We had a pretty damn good shower and rainstorm come through here overnight. And all them pieces are there now, so that's a testament to them, by God. Anyway, I'll go up there and get them other 3 panels put in, put the roof vents back in, hang the doors, and call this damn thing done. Shit. Well, alright folks, this here's the episode we've been waiting for. I'm coming to you from inside the completed greenhouse. This has been the most pain in the ass project I've ever done in my life. And in all fairness to Harbor Freight, you can buy this entire kit for about the price of just polycarbonate panels. And I try not to let emotions get in the way of me giving an honest review. But there are a lot of modifications that still need to be done. For example, this back wall. That thing flexes a good 3 inches. And when it flexes out, that one flexes in. So, I've seen guys use thin wall conduit and go off 45s from the center of the end wall off to the side walls. So, I'm going to look at something like that. I just do not want to be hanging anything from this flimsy aluminum frame. Once it's all put together, you knock on it, you don't hear no rattling, you know all your nuts and bolts are tight. But tight is a relative term, because this is such lightweight aluminum. Is it tight just when it's cinched down snug, or when you've slightly deformed the aluminum, or when you've squeezed the holy shit out of it? You know, aluminum gives. Also, the only thing holding this entire greenhouse to the base is those little hold downs at the bottom of each one of these vertical studs. And I believe what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the outside and put me some screws down through that aluminum plate that sits on top of this foundation. There are several other modifications I'm going to do, but I'm going to show that in another video. I want to just try to keep this as simple as I can, just strictly the way the manufacturer said do it. Everything went together pretty much like it's supposed to. Of course, you remember first episode or two me bitching about them angle iron brackets.
That was just piss poor quality control right there. Everything else went together like it's supposed to. One of the most aggravating, it's getting hot in here. It's hotter than Florida in here. It's only 60 degrees outside. Anyway, one of the most frustrating things when putting this together was on these side rails, or these cross braces here. They would say put the end with the arrow on the corner post. There's no arrows on these things. So it would just become trial and error, switching it back and forth, you know, which direction made the wall studs come out, you know, plumb, and keeping this thing all nice and square and all that. And I pretty much come to the realization that it's probably the part number sticker. It's not an arrow, but you know, they got a sticker and they have it towards the end of the brace. So that's my guess on that. Now, do I recommend this thing? Shit. As much as I've gone through on this, the bottom line is yes, I do recommend it. You know, I know that sounds crazy, but keep in mind, I had to come to realization yesterday, the hell, in 17 months I'm gonna be 60-year-old, and I put this thing together by myself. I didn't have any help at all. I mean, not even my wife to hand me a panel while I was on a ladder. So I had to do this all by my lonesome, and it required a hell of a lot of trips up and down the ladders. But if a person had a helper, God, it goes so much easier. So if you got a helper, even if it's just a small child, just somebody can hand you something while you're on the ladder, it'll make all the difference in the world. And if you got two adults, man, you can fly through this thing. I mean, go quick, fast, and easy. But I priced the polycarbonate panels, and to buy a 4 by 8 foot sheet at Home Depot was $90 and change. In Tennessee, that'd be $100 tax included. And there's a hell of a lot more than 6 4 by 8 panels to make up this thing right here. I'll actually calculate it out. I'll measure all this, and I'll put something on the bottom of the screen there for you to look at. But let me walk you around this thing, show you what all I had to do to make this son of a bitch stay together. God, I don't know if you can see it, but man, I got sweat rolling all off of me. So this son of a bitch works. Woo wee. Oh, get outside where it's cool. Woo. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay. First, I want to show you. That right there ain't worth a shit. Okay? That's why we got to put some bracing in here. And even though I've got this thing square, plumb, level, and all that, my doors don't line up. And Harbor Freight did not include any type of a door knob or door latch or anything. So for now, I'm just going to put a pair of vice grips on these doors to hold them shut. That's good enough for the moment. All right. I walked on every one of these daggum things. I put screws. And the screws I used a 5/8 washer with a rubber backing, and the damn thing was expensive. The screw itself is a zinc screw, and then that additional washer, it would come to $11.02 for 75. For 75 screws, 75 washers, come to $11.02, and that's with my military discount at Lowe's. I want you to notice that these vents are not staying. They're not staying shut. The wind can lift them up. I ain't liking that. I've got to come up with something to make sure them son of bitches stay down. But last night when I left, these 3 panels right here had not been installed because I ran out of screws. And I figured, you know what, that'd be a good test for all these panels I've already put in to make damn sure that they'll hold up against the wind. And they did. Let me see if I can get you a good view of this right here. See that? I don't like a building to shake like that. And them screws might stick out like a sore thumb at first, but I guarantee you, I wish I'd done it the first time. I built these panels in twice. Weren't no fun. So bottom line is, yes, I do recommend it, but keep in mind, right from the get-go, you're going to have to put screws in it. Now, as an experiment, what I did is I put caulking in part of these, because remember the manager at my local store said I put them together, I caulked them, and I didn't have no trouble. Well, I was using that caulk, and you saw me use caulk, and I decided that I would try some of them without it and see how it works, because what I intended to do was just like that, and right there is one you saw me install. I figured, well, hell, I just go on the inside and run the tip of my caulk gun right along the inside, and that'll caulk and seal it all at the same time. So I decided to do that. Now, I did this according to directions, but if you see that cross member right there, and then it sort of goes uphill, and then you got one right here going across. The instructions say attach those cross members to this little bracket that's joining that's extending these wall studs, and I think that's wrong. But I'll do another video on all the modifications I'm going to do to it as I do them. But bottom line is, it's together. It works because it's a hot son bitch in there. And one modification I got to do real quick is right here, right there. I got to screw a bolt in that base under there, so that when you step in, if you happen to step on your door track, it doesn't fold down. But there you have it. Sorry to talk your ear off, but man, I sure am glad she's done. Good God. You talk about a project from hell. Lord have mercy. That thing will just plumb wore my ass out. And would I do it again? Well, hell yeah, because I ain't been accused of being real smart. But yeah, I'd do it again. I'd have to get me a hell of a deal on one. But I would definitely use screws. And that would have saved me, I'd been, last week, it's been a week now since we come here and discovered it was all blowed out. So this delayed me a week because of the weather and everything else. Me being wore out, then the weather coming, so cloud don't look very good right yonder neither. But by God, that greenhouse is done. All right, well. What an adventure we've had, huh? Man. Well, thanks for sticking through all this with me. I know I rambled a lot, but I hope you learned something. And for those of you that, like, I've got one subscriber out there, he's got one, and he wanted to wait until I finished part 9 here before he opened his box. And Mr. Hydro, I recommend it, but keep in mind you're going to spend some more money on some screws. And make sure you got help. Don't do this by yourself. And I will not do it by myself again. And I've got a seal around by my my 4x4s on the bottom there, so no breeze gets in there and helps lift them vents up, that kind of thing. And I'm gonna figure some cross pieces of chain or something to hold them things down. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but that'll be in another video. Folks, I really appreciate you. Have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. Bye.